wine gets better with age. I get better with wine. Okay, guilty. You girls know that's true.
We do.
Are you guys trying to tell me something? We all drank during lockdown. We're all just moms having fun, aren't we?
It's really easy to joke about wine o'clock and mommy time. In fact, you've probably seen those signs, right? The picture frames, the wine glasses with sayings. But sometimes that self-care can maybe turn into something a lot more serious, especially for moms of young kids. In fact, a recent study found that women with children under 5 increased their drinking by more than 300% during the pandemic, 323%. Joining us now is Kitley. She's a licensed clinical social worker. She specializes in women's mental health. It's good to see you again. I was thinking about this last night as I poured myself a glass of red wine. I think this is not just women, but a lot of people turn to wine or another beverage at the end of the day. But when does that nightly pour begin to risk becoming a problem?
Well, we live in such a alcohol-saturated culture, so it's really normalized to engage in the habitual routine of grabbing that glass of wine. And you're absolutely right. It is not just women. It is women and men. And as we are currently in a mental health crisis, a lot of people are turning to alcohol as a coping mechanism. Mm-hmm. And there is a crossover. You know, alcohol disorders I look at on a spectrum. And so it's people who don't drink at all, and then people who are alcohol dependent. And a lot of us fall in that gray area. And so when we notice that shift, a lot of times it will become a preoccupation of thinking about alcohol. Our sleep may be interrupted. We may start having disagreements with our spouse or our kids. And really, any kind of significant shift in our daily living skills does cross over into that substance abuse area.
Yeah, I'm going to do a true confession. During the pandemic, it started to become not just one, but two, some nights, three. Aaron's raising his hand too. Some nights 3 glasses. And then you start thinking, okay, this is not, I need to scale back. What are the steps that we can take if you start to have that feeling that you're moving on the spectrum more toward a problem?
Well, thank you so much for saying that, because just in my practice, so many people have come forward and said, gosh, I just started drinking more than I've ever drank before. And a lot of times it's been because of boredom. And so I use a whole health perspective and ask people to look at, is alcohol helping your life or is it hindering your life? Are you feeling groggy and not having clarity in the morning and, feeling more irritable? And so I ask my clients to pause before thinking about drinking. Maybe go for a walk on Friday before you pour that glass of wine. Maybe looking at some of the other things that you can substitute with drinking. Finding a good show to watch it can oftentimes be a way to kind of check out. And I think that that's why people are drawn to alcohol, because it calms their brain down.
Yeah, I actually started substituting drinks that I like that are non-alcoholic. Quickly, we only have 30 seconds. Dry January, sober October, are those a good idea, cold turkey?
They are a good idea for people who don't have a dependence on alcohol, because if anybody abruptly stops drinking, that can become problematic. And if you are finding that it's difficult for you to not cut back on your own, then seek professional help and get a referral from your doctor.
Kitley, great to have you. Sorry to cut you off. We're running out of time. Kitley, really appreciate it. There is much more ahead. You're watching NBC News Daily.